Hey, thanks for joining me today and welcome to Fridays with Fenning. About 25 years ago, I remember doing a new course at the church. It was called Network, and it was to help us to discover, first of all, what we're passionate about, because what we're passionate about motivates us and should shape where we invest our time and energy in serving God and others. In other words, it's doing something that you love doing. And the course also helped us to discover what are spiritual gifts that God has given us, because that's what helps what we do when we serve. And it's built around our area of competencies. And finally, it helped identify our personal style, whether we're structured or unstructured, whether we're people or task orientated, answering the how you best serve. So when it came to answering questions about what I'm passionate about, I wrote down some very spiritual answers that I thought I ought to. But I nervously, right at the bottom, in pencil, wrote down cricket. Because I loved cricket. I loved playing it, I loved watching it, I loved reading about it. And it kind of felt wrong writing it down because it wasn't very spiritual. But I'm so glad I did, because it highlighted something that I naturally did that God was using. You see, linking my passion for cricket with two gifts that God had given me, evangelism and leadership, along with my people-focused style, it suddenly dawned on me why I loved organising cricket matches amongst friends and why I always intentionally invited those on the very edge of church to be involved with me. Because it helped me build friendships and gave me opportunities to get to know people and build trust with them. You see, saying you're a church leader can half put people off and make them feel nervous. So playing cricket and having a drink afterwards just broke down the barriers. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, it's because I want to share my faith in a way that's natural to me, that's not forced or imposing, but genuine and with respect for other people. And if you're a Christian, if you're a follower of Jesus, then I'm sure you want to do the same too. Which is why over these Fridays of July, I've been focusing on different ways, different styles of faith sharing. And today I want to pick up on the final two approaches to sharing faith. And they're probably the two that fits me best. The first is relational or interpersonal. For me, sharing my faith comes easiest and most naturally as and when I build friendships with people over time. I'm a people-focused person, so to talk about life, about struggles, about anything is what I love doing. And it's through getting to know and being known by people that I can gain respect and trust. And it's from that friendship position that I can listen to their story and share mine, that I can invite to events and ask questions. And if people trust the messenger, they may well pay attention and trust the message. And this is why I love doing Alpha so much, this 10-week course, introducing people to the Christian faith. It's the depth of relationships built over 10 weeks. And we often ask people on the first week why they've chosen to come to Alpha. And nearly always the key reason is that they have a friend who's a Christian who demonstrated something different in their lives, either a peace in the midst of difficulties or just the support that they've given them. And it's through friendship and invitation that has caused most of them to come. And in my experience of Alpha, my experience is that people tend to be very open and honest about life, about their questions, and that fits with my personality best of having those slightly deeper conversations. I love the story in Mark 2 where Matthew, who'd been a tax collector and been called by Jesus to follow him, decided to hold a party, and he got all of his friends to come so that they could meet Jesus. And I love how Mark records it. He writes this: Matthew invited Jesus and his disciples to his home as dinner guests, along with many tax collectors and other disreputable sinners. And it says in brackets that there were many people of this kind amongst Jesus' followers. Matthew called on his friendship group to eat and to meet Jesus. And there's a huge danger when people become Christians that when they get involved in church life, they lose their previous friendships. Honestly, don't. Friends are important. And what kind of message does it say if we drop our old friends when we come to have faith? It says, you're not good enough anymore, which is the opposite to the message of Jesus. Now, I remember my friend Nathan, when he first became a Christian, his drugs and gang background was so different to mine. And I remember saying to him that he can reach a group of people that I can never reach or get to know. And that God can use him to reach his friends. And he said to me one time, he says, my people are not your people, but I can bring my people to you and you can work your magic on them. Well, if friendship is a natural way to share faith, then be careful to do this honestly and naturally. Don't force it, because people are people, not projects. You know, you're friends because you're friends. But be willing to ask questions and walk with them through the tough times, and pray for opportunities to share the love of God with them. Because to see a friend find Jesus is so exciting. The final style I want to highlight is the serving style, and it's meeting the needs of others in a practical, loving way. You know, there's something very tangible, very compassionate about this style. And if I was to ask you to say a person's name that is opposite to Hitler, I wonder who you'd say. You know, for many people, the name Mother Teresa would come to mind. Why? Because she epitomizes compassionate Christian living, serving the poor, bringing dignity to the marginalized, and showing love to the dying. You know, Mother Teresa reached out with the love of Jesus in such a powerful way that words could never just express. But people who met her were in no doubt about why she served the vulnerable and poor. She was sharing the love of Jesus with these people. It was love in action. Now, you and I may never be able to do what Mother Teresa did, but helping those in need might be the most natural route for you to share your faith in practical ways. You know, people with this style are often patient, others-centered. They can see the needs and find joy in meeting them. They show love through actions more than words. You know, Jesus once said this: no one lights a lamp and then puts it under a basket. Instead, a lamp is placed on a stand where it gives light to everyone in the house. And then he says this: in the same way, let your good deeds shine out for all to see, so that everyone will praise your Heavenly Father. John Collison is a great example of this in our church. John's son Pete came to faith a number of years ago, and he was so keen to see his parents find faith too. So he invited them on Alpha, and over time they made a commitment to following Jesus. And John quickly got involved in setting up the furniture bank. You know, collecting redundant furniture from people's homes, doing it up, and then giving it away to people in need. And he's been doing this for years now. And sometimes when I get to talk with him and he shares stories of families he's helped, he just wells up because he has such a love for people, and he longs to show the love of Jesus in practical ways. Now, for you, it might not be furniture. It might be cooking cakes for your neighbours, or mowing lawns, or doing the shopping for others. It might be demonstrating hospitality, or decorating a room, or sorting out a garden for someone. You know, don't underestimate the power of your actions, because acts of kindness are hard to resist and they're difficult to argue with. You know, the caution for this style is that you can be so helpful, but they never know why. So if speaking about faith is incredibly hard for you, find ways of expressing why you love to help others, what drives you. You could even mention Alpha and invite them to that too. So there you have it. 6 different approaches to sharing our faith in Jesus that we've looked at over the last few weeks. So we need storytellers and inviters, intellectual debaters and bold challengers, friendship builders and servant-hearted helpers to work together to share this amazing news of Jesus. So which 2 or 3 do you identify with most? You know, knowing is helpful, but we need to allow these styles to free us to share our faith naturally. So start sharing the love of Jesus with others so that they too can discover the peace, the joy, the love, the forgiveness that only can be found in Jesus. And if you're not sure which you identify the most with, well, drop me an email at steve.fenning@forgechurch.com and I'll send you a questionnaire that might just help you. Hey, have a great weekend. Tune in next week as I conclude this little series about sharing our faith. You take care. Thanks.